Hello and welcome back. Today we're going over Inaros. First of all, we're going to quickly look at my build. 5 Former, Corrosive Projection, Firewalker, Intensify, Armored Agility, Rage, Vitality, Steel Viper, Stretch, Primed Continuity and Primed Flow. I do on occasion run his Augment, Elemental Sandstorm, though I have to admit I don't rate it very highly. It can come in handy, but to be honest I don't see a reason for it. That it's Blair. To me there's nothing for it. Right, the loadout I'm using is Ratka Cernos, Tenosak Boto, Jack Katarg, and then my Smita Kavat Jaeger. I like using Kavats or Kubros with him, to be honest. They get like 7,000 plus health. His abilities is Desiccate. It's a conical blind effect, but only if they're facing you. If they're not facing you, they still take the damage, but then they get blinded. Devour is a drag and it's a stun and drag. You can pull them towards you and then you eat them. Quite fun. Sandstorm, little bit of crowd control, does okay damage per second, but it's quite fun for just staying in one position and as doing damage. And of course, Scarab Swarm. This can double up as Scarab Armor. Well, it does double up as Scarab Armor. What happens is, as you're about to see, is you hold down the 4 button and you will drain health and gain a 100% increase in your base armor. This is unmodded. So don't think that you're going to be getting a lot of health because you've put a lot of armor mods on. As you can see, he is fairly tanky, although my cat is now getting in the way, so come back to me, gentlemen. There we are, it's all about me, thank you very much. And quick show of his third ability, and it does make things go bye-bye. It's quite fun. His fourth ability, it stacks up to 100% when you are charging it by sacrificing health. When you can fire it off at enemies, it does spread within 5 meters, and each charge will cost you 25%, so you hold 4 charges. I always recommend in trying to keep this at 100% at all times, because it just helps with his survivability. It increases your EHP quite a bit. With Devour, like you just saw, you can drag them towards you. However, when you are eating them, don't know how to call it, you are immune to damage completely, which is quite fun. If you kill them via Devour, you spawn a sand shadow, which is quite fun. As you can see there's a little Devour icon on him. That's not just for me, that's also for allies, just in case you need a little boost in health. And enemies that are stuck in Devour, you can cast your Sandstorm on them and you will also devour their health even quicker. And upon death they still spawn the little sand minion. Quite useful, to be honest. They don't do a lot of damage, they don't last that long. There's just that extra little bit of aggro just in case you are struggling. Now there is a passive, an unwritten passive really, with Inaros. It's when you kill an enemy with a finisher, you actually gain health. You may have just noticed there that I just gained about 600 health just by killing the gunner with a finisher. So I'm just gonna run around, do like a demonstration of playability, well, Inaros' playability, not mine, and just how you can kind of roughly use him. As you can see, a bit of crowd control here going on using his fourth ability as well as his one. The blind is works well for using finishers. You can use covert lethality for this to one-shot them. It does work. However, I'm a bit of a fan of Jack Katarg. I'm not into this whole meta thing. Finisher damage with hammers is also done by ×6, which is very helpful. So, not too bad in the whole killing front, particularly with finishers. As you can see there, the fourth ability is spreading from target to target. And while under the fourth ability, they can still be added in the effects of others, such as his one ability, so you can still finisher the little cretins. As you can see, you can drag, you can maneuver them, just pull them off a cliff if need be, or just press 3 and you can stack up his damage quite well by using his 4th ability to get them all stationary. Spam your 1 ability a few times to get a little bit of extra damage, and then if you use your 3, all 3 damage from all 3 abilities stack, and you can do individually. They don't do a lot, which is why I don't see the point in having a lot of power strength on Inaros. Although he can effectively work as a DPS, it's not great DPS. I mean, I'm not sure if you can really see here, but I'm doing like 4 damage per second from his abilities, which is not great. And even with max power strength, the most you'll really get is at this level is about 60, which is the odd thing about Inaros. He only really works at high level. At low level, you're actually quite more likely, well, for me at least, you're quite more likely to die for the simple fact that you kill them too quick. You can't regain your health, so unless you've got a lot of health pads or Mediray, I suppose, you just gradually just keep losing health with no way to regenerate it. Because the moment you try and cast an ability on an enemy to regenerate your health, they end up just dying. He is pretty much a high tier frame only, which in a way makes him quite unique. I'm just quickly doing Mott here, just to sort of show that he's not just in the test realm only. You can put him elsewhere. I am running 2 arcanes on him at the moment. I have Arcane Ultimatum, which gives me a 100% chance upon killing an enemy with a finisher to gain 60% armor for 40 seconds. Just another one to help increase his survivability. I was originally running Arcane Guardian, but it became a little bit too unreliable, particularly for the way that you would inevitably play Inaros, and I'm pretty sure you're going to kill 1 enemy every 40 seconds with a finisher, so you can basically just constantly have a 60% increase in your armor at all times. I'm also running Arcane Finisher at the moment, just because when I put that on I didn't have Naramon, and I like the idea of being an invisible god of death, or underworld, Anubis, why not? That's just me. I will be taking that off soon and putting Arcane Grace in. You know, more health, more healing, more armor. Why not? Can't really argue. On my Jack-Kitarg, the main reason I use it over... I've forgotten what it's called now. Wow. Covert Lethality on a dagger. There it is. But the main reason I'm using it, not using that, is because Covert Lethality is... don't get me wrong, very good, but it's single target, whereas if you can get a good hit, particularly with a speed to Kavat, that can give you the red crit bonus. Thus far, if I time it right and get the red crit bonus and do a finisher, I can one-shot a level 250 Orokin heavy gunner with my Jack-Kitarg. Add the Vulcan Blitz mod into it, that will pretty much annihilate anything in the immediate area. No crowd control like a dead crowd, as it were. Or at least that's the theory behind Ash, anyway. Anyway, moving on from my bitter disdain of that frame. Yeah, Inaros. He is a mix of all different styles of play. Like I said earlier, he can do DPS, but not very effectively. He is pretty good at close quarter crowd control. He can't really lock down a map unless every enemy decides to be within 5 meters of each other, which I don't think that would ever happen. And if it does, record it, send it to me, and I will... you can call me Sally for a year. That's the only way Inaros could ever really do like map-wide or tile-wide crowd control. He's a lot more suited to small scale, which, to be honest, for the way he works, it's absolutely perfect. He is also completely capable of tanking, although I would not rate him up there as a Chroma level tank. I would even go as far to say that a max strength Rhino Iron Skin build is possibly a bit more tanky, but then I might be using the completely wrong build for that on Inaros. But this is just how I've built him, and it works perfectly for me. Naramon as well also helps. Now there is a little pet peeve of mine with Inaros. I said earlier that if you die as Inaros, that there is something quite possibly very wrong with your build. That being said, I have died as Inaros. I'm pretty sure everyone has died as Inaros. However, the one thing I have found really that really does actually kill him, it's not the enemies. It's other people, particularly those that don't know how Inaros works. Inaros works by leeching life off the enemies, and there have been many a time where I've been sat there trying to leech life off an enemy mob, and in comes a Excalibur using Exalted Blade and wipes out the mob. Well, there goes my health. And then along comes a Bombard, thank you very much. Or a Valkyr, that just likes to be in Hysteria, slide and press E, or whatever melee button it is they're using. Another one that ruins your day, or my favourite one, just because while under the effect of it, or the immediate effect of it, it nullifies all incoming damage, as well as the healing. Ash Blaster. Now, going back to actually what's being done in the video, not sure if you just saw there, but I went into a nullifier bomb. Now the way that works with the fourth ability, Scarab Swarm on Inaros, is it will cancel out that armor value you have, but it returns it in the health, which if you are really struggling for health, but you do have Scarab Swarm active, and there's a nullifier bubble nearby, just hop on in. It works quite well as a quick heal. As I said earlier, he doesn't really work as a overall DPS frame. Some people could argue that's because I'm only using intensifiers, so what I'm doing here is a quick bit of mental math and juggling around, and I'm going to try and see if I can just get his power strength up a bit more. Just got to try and figure out what I'm actually going to do with it. I think I needed to take off my Exilus as well as Armoured Agility. Yeah, that should give me 17. Right, that gives enough for Transient Fortitude to put on, so that should give me a fair whack on the old power strength. Not as high as the max. I think the max is 299%. Could be mistaken. But still, damage per second on Scarab Swarm is 560-ish. So let's see how that translates actually on a mob. Alright, first of all, the one ability, I can see 44. Yeah, I'm doing 44 damage per second from a one ability. Again, I'm aware this is a level 140 Orokin heavy gunner. Like I said, Inaros excels, or is better suited to the higher level enemies. So, yeah, 44 damage a second, not that great. So let's try out the fourth ability. Right, his armor's been stripped and I'm still not doing much. The healing factor worked nice, that's quite a lot of healing that came out of just that one target. But as for an overall damage per second, pretty bad. Now, I've gone back to my original build here, and I'm going to see if I can reinforce my statement of Inaros is better suited to a healing support styled frame rather than an actual tank, although he can tank, and it is a nice secondary perk of this build. This is mainly done around healing. I mean, as you saw there, I went from quite low-ish health to max health pretty quick. Pretty darn effective if I do say so myself. So I'm going to get myself back up to 100% here and let Scarab Swarm run out on these guys, and I'm going to see if I can take as much damage as possible without flaking out and being a gorgeous mess on the floor. 465 health, that'll do. Press 4 and look at that. Straight back to 4,620. That is awful lot of healing. And while we're on this, for the sorting missions, particularly the Saga's Ruck one, I will solo it with my Inaros. I basically cast Scarab Swarms on the mob around him, and I can stand in his fire. He can hit me, shoot me, blast me, whatever, and my health flickers between 4,610 and 4,620. And most people would argue he does quite a bit of damage per second due to it being fire. Well, it's completely counteracted by Scarab Swarm. Anyway, that's me. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.